Dwayne was much more sensitive to it than we were. He said, wait a minute, you know, this is going to be groundbreaking, you know, and we're going, come on, man, we're all past all of that shit. And, you know, we find out today that we maybe aren't past it, even though we've elected a president. You know, the Attorney General the other day said we're still cowards about that shit. And I think maybe we still are. That was, it was not a stroke of genius, it was a stroke of accident. When Dwayne was the best actor that we knew, he agreed to play the role. We finished the film completely, printed, had an answer print made in Pittsburgh. We're driving it to New York. The first answer print of that film was in the trunk of the car, and Russ Striner, one of the producers, and I are driving it to New York to see if anybody wants to show it. And that night, on the radio in the car, we heard that Martin Luther King had been assassinated. And, you know, being crass commercial sons of bitches, Russ and I looked at each other and said, this might make the film a little bit more valuable. I mean, you know, I hate to say that, but, you know, that's the way you think. I mean, you just invested a year and a half in this thing, and, you know, there it is. So a lot of the stuff that we get credit for as being, you know, political avant-garde, we don't deserve the credit for. And this film has been way overanalyzed as far as I'm concerned. It's like, you know, it's called Give Me a Break over here. I mean, all I tried to, I wanted, eventually, in the end, we started to shoot black and white 35 millimeter when investors began to invest. There was a big movement to say switch to color and shoot 16 millimeter, even reshoot the week that we had in the can. And I said, no, I like black and white. I want it to look black and white. The news was in black and white, you know, on the waterfront was in black and white. I said, blood doesn't look good in black and white. I said, it looks better in black and white, man. First of all, you know, we can use chocolate syrup and nobody's going to know. And I thought that, you know, like the most realistic blood that I've ever seen on somebody's face is when Marlon Brando gets his ass kicked out of him and on the waterfront at the end. And it's black and white, and it's just, you really feel it. And I said, no, it's got to be black and white. This has to look like newsreels. And so we stuck with the black and white, so maybe that was something. And it's really only the last 10 minutes of the movie that we shot handheld and tried to make it relevant, tried to make it look like what was all of a sudden happening. We were 60s guys, man, pissed off that peace and love looked like it wasn't working. And, you know, all of a sudden there was this new thing, what is it, a police action over there, which turned into Vietnam. And, you know, we're going, fuck, man, this shit, you know, our thing didn't work. And so there's that kind of anger in the movie, but other than that, you know.
Well, I think my students would agree that it's been overanalyzed in my class enough. And so that's probably very true. Yes, we have a question right said center.
If you were to tell an aspiring filmmaker or an illustrator or something in the genre where to get their stuff to start to get noticed, where would it be?
Wow. Get noticed? I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can say is do the work. You know, I mean, young filmmakers, I speak at universities and play, and, you know, I talk to a lot of young filmmakers and everybody says, how do you crack in? I said, you don't crack in. You don't, you know, you just have to do it. You can't, without ever having made a film, walk in and say to somebody, I know how to make a film. I don't care if it's a studio executive or an uncle who has the money. You can't just say, I know how to make a film. You have to somehow do it. And luckily, these days, I mean, I judged this film competition here, and all 5 of the films really were way deserving. I mean, really, it was hard to make a choice. I thought the film that won just had beautiful shot selections, and I just thought it was that little inch above the other ones. But I would never have known this filmmaker or this film if not for this competition. And if he had never made a film, he could never, you know, now go out and say, I know how to make movies. You can't walk in and say, I know how to make a movie, because somebody's going to say to you, oh yeah, show me what you did. You have to do it. You cannot talk it. You can't talk your way in. Now, on the other hand, if you want to work at other levels, and if you want to try to work your way up, if you are a dedicated person, if you have some sort of, if you care about what you're doing, and if you're a good guy and a dedicated person, you can come in as a PA. You can work for nothing, and if the producers and the people around on the set like what you do, you will be rehired. It's almost automatic. There are so many people that try to crack into this biz because they think it's cool or you know, romantic or whatever the hell, and they don't do the job. You notice this young person that walks in there and has a complete dedication to it, and without wanting the accolades, without wanting any attention, just does the job 100%. And I'm telling you, there are so many people in this business that get into this business that are just either, you know, too high-minded or whatever. And you know, the people that you love are the people that are just there to do the work. And you rehire them and you rehire them. There's a story. My best friend in the business, is a guy named Nicky Mastandria, who was working in a trade school, you know, learning how to, you know, fix cars. And he came around early when we had our commercial company, and he would, you know, hold the lights and lift stuff, do the heavy lifting and stuff. He's now one of the biggest guys in Hollywood, one of the biggest ADs in Hollywood. If you care about what you're doing, if you're a good person, and if you are there to help the project instead of, you know, like, you know, some sort of self-aggrandizing thing, they're going to call you up next time. They're going to say, what was that kid's name? You know, all of a sudden, bang, you're in.